I was going to avoid talking about this basketball team until they play the Houston Rockets tonight. But then, of course, I was reading Twitter and I came across some things, and so I decided, there's some things we want to talk about. There's some things that came out. Ramona Shelburne on ESPN basically has a report where they're admitting that the 76ers lied to the fans, but it's much worse than lying to the fans. They basically screwed this franchise over for the next couple of years, and I'm going to explain to you what that means. Okay, there's some updates on some players, and then Paul George reassured us of success. Okay, moving forward, and we're going to talk about Paul George's promise that he just made to Philadelphia 76ers fans. So stay tuned, man. But first, of course, the brand new Maxie McCain 25 Make the Sixers Great Again t-shirt is available on RunItBackPhillyShop.com. I'm giving away 3 of them. The contest that already happened, so we're gonna, I'm gonna announce who won those pretty soon here. But if you want to purchase one, they are on RunItBackPhillyShop.com, and I'll give you 20% off. Code SICKOS20, all caps, SICKOS 20. Let's get down to business. Well, before we do, I just want to say this. You guys hit me up a lot, and you say things like, "Hey, man, listen to this. Check out this report. We need a rant video. We need a rant video. We need a rant video." I love that you guys look forward to it, and I love the support. But I want to remind you that I am a human being, and I'm not a paid actor. Okay, and I know it's entertaining for you, but it's real. It's real frustration. The rants come from the heart. It's real frustration. I can't just rant about this loser-ass team forever, every day. I can't do that. It's not healthy. You know what I mean? And also, the rants come from being shocked. I thought the team was going to be good. I realized they're dog shit, so I ranted about how pissed off I was about the team being dog shit when I thought they were going to be good. Now I know that they're dog shit. I can't scream about stepping in shit when I know I'm walking in a field full of dog shit now. You feel me? So there's not really going to be any screaming and yelling in this video, and hopefully there's not going to be any screaming and yelling for the rest of this season because it's over. But I want to tell you this. Ramona Shelburne just reported, and shout out to Aaron Grugan of Liberty Ballers. Ramona Shelburne on ESPN today said that the team and Embiid had sought half a dozen medical opinions before signing him to a 3-year, $192 million extension this September, sources said, and all of those consulted believed his knee could be adequately managed by a combination of strategic rest and procedures to promote healing. So the Philadelphia 76ers, don't scream, knew that Joel Embiid's knee was not healthy. They knew he had knee swelling. They knew it wasn't right after the surgery. And they still signed him to a $200 million 3-year extension after consulting half a dozen medical people and believing that his knee could be adequately managed by a combination of strategic rest and procedures to promote healing. This team signed a 30-year-old player with a knee condition to a 3-year extension and thought that they could manage it by strategic rest. What is strategic rest? Laying in a certain position and procedures to promote healing. Guys, it's time to say it, and I wish I had a different word to use. This is the most retarded organization that's ever existed, from the medical staff to the management and on. And I hope that's not offensive to the mentally challenged. The Sixers are so mentally challenged that probably is offensive to the mentally challenged, because the mentally challenged could run this team better than the 76ers organization. It's unbelievable, man. They just continue to do the absolute dumbest shit. You know what? I shouldn't use that word, and I shouldn't even say mentally challenged, because mentally challenged people aren't dumb. They have a condition. These people don't have a condition. They're just fucking stupid. I hope that doesn't get me taken off of YouTube. Let's move on. The Sixers play the Houston Rockets tonight, and I tweeted, do you guys understand what the Houston Rockets young athletes are about to do to this 76ers team? Let's look at the Houston Rockets roster. All right, and if we're getting blown out by the Clippers, if we're getting blown out by the Memphis Grizzlies without John Morant, without Desmond Bane the first game, what are the Rockets going to do to us? The Houston Rockets' average age on the roster is 24 years old. Their average height is 6'6", and they are 12-6. They're some of their best players. Tari Eason, 23 years old, 6'8". Jalen Green, 22 years old, 6'4", freak athlete. Jeff Green is the oldest player on the roster, and he plays 6 minutes per game. He's 38 years old. Kyle Lowry is older than Jeff Green and plays double or more of the minutes. Alperen Şengün, 22 years old, 6'11". Jabari Smith Jr., 21 years old, 6'10". Amen Thompson, 21 years old, 6'7". Cam Whitmore, 20 years old, 6'7". I mean, let's be serious here. Here's the 76ers players that play most of the minutes. Andre Drummond, 31 years old. Joel Embiid, injured, 30 years old. Paul George, injured, 34 years old. Eric Gordon, playing about 13 minutes a game, 35 years old. Reggie Jackson, 34 years old. Kyle Lowry, 38 years old. Not to mention 6 feet tall, 6'2" and 6'3". Caleb Martin, hurt, 29 years old. I don't know what. I don't even know, dude. It's going to be... give me in the comments your prediction for tonight's game. I'm thinking at least a 20-point loss, because they can't beat anybody. They can't even come close, really. And I don't see it turning around anytime soon. Speaking of Caleb Martin, he received treatment this morning at shoot-around. He remains questionable for tonight against the Rockets due to upper back soreness. So not just the fact that he has a broken shoulder and is the new Markelle Fultz, he also has a hurt back. I think the best thing that could happen to the 76ers right now is all of the players that we thought were going to contribute to wins get hurt, and we're forced to play all of the young players. Now, the problem is the young players that we have were a bunch of undrafted players and throwaways from other teams. So, their young players are high draft picks, top 5 McDonald's All-Americans and things like that. So even if we match their age with our age, they're still going to blow us out. But maybe we'll move forward soon with the future and just forget about this era of old injured players. It's getting hard to watch. It's getting hard to talk about. But Paul George is here to give us some hope, ladies and gentlemen. Oh yeah. Here's the thing about Paul George having a podcast. If he's hurt and he can't play, and even when he plays, he averages 12 points a game and plays basically as soft as Tobias Harris, just with a better jump shot, you are going to hear Paul George quotes every day because he has a podcast. You know what that means? You see, players that don't have a podcast, when they're hurt, they shut the fuck up. But players that have a podcast, they could be injured, missing time, their team could be tanking, they're still talking every day. Paul George says, we'll change this around. I'm 100% betting down on that we'll change this. It's on us. We got to control what we can. Well, you know what, Paul George? You probably shouldn't use the word betting, okay? Because if you really want to put your money where your mouth is, why don't you put your $212 million up? If you want to bet that you turn this around. Another quote by Paul George. There's a lot of traveling that goes on in the NBA. They're not reffing. If you really watch a game, you can spot 5 to 10 travels. Hey, Paul George. Is this because you're sitting on the sidelines so much that you're now noticing how much the NBA officials miss calls? Bro, you can't have a podcast when you're hurt and the team is tanking. You need to shut the fuck up. That's what you need to do. And serious question. And again, I'm not trying to say that my podcast is the best in the world and that nobody else should be a podcaster. I just want to know, who wakes up in the morning and says, I got to hear what Paul George is about to say? I don't really understand it. You know, at least I have thousands of people who are frustrated about the Sixers and say, oh, I can't wait to hear what DJ Eastwood said about this game. I'm not understanding these NBA players with podcasts. I don't know. I've never heard anybody say, I got to listen to Paul George podcast today. And the last thing that I want to talk about is what Daryl Morey is about to do moving forward, because it's going to be bad, okay? The Sixers are reportedly in the market for a power forward, and Patrick Williams would make sense as a potential target. He's making $18 million a year for the next 5 years. A high number, but the Sixers could get there if they wanted. Yeah, look, we say tank for flag, and we say all this stuff, and we say trade the contracts and start over, and Maxie McCain 25, and let's move to the future. There's a problem here, guys. Daryl Morey has never been the GM of a losing team. He has never tanked. And if you think Daryl Morey is about to accept tanking over his own ego, you're out of your damn mind. And if you think Daryl Morey is not as delusional as the rest of the people that think the Sixers can win something this year, you're out of your mind also. Daryl Morey is going to swing for the fences at the trade deadline to attempt to save his own reputation. And so what the Sixers should be selling, they should be acquiring draft picks. They're not going to. They're going to trade more assets to accumulate more players that aren't going to get them over the hump. I know it's doom and gloom. I know I'm not offering you really anything to make you happy about the 76ers, but there's all the information that I have before the Sixers get blown out by the Houston Rockets tonight. Thank you for tuning in. I'll see you soon.